Good morning and welcome back. Today we're going over some common problems owners have when leasing their property, and today's topic is you don't know who your potential tenant is.
Right. So again, we've had this conversation in previous conversations or previous videos that we've done about the issues that are around fair housing. So one of the big things is that there is a legal way in which an owner can screen for a new tenant for a property. Typically, that's based on a criminal background search, a credit search, and previous rental history. And so those are all three very important factors when selecting a tenant for obvious reasons. But not all owners have access to the type of reporting that we have. So we have an internal, robust tenant screening process that allows us to eliminate a lot of the problems that you might be faced if you don't have that that type of a screening process available to you. So it's important to be able to screen.
Exactly. And we screen for credit, and then we also screen for criminal background check.
And previous rental history.
Exactly.
And previous rental history, it's funny, credit is usually the overriding factor for our selection. We found that credit is probably the one thing that kind of determines payment history the most, but also previous rental history. We have had some tenants that maybe we wished we had a little bit better rental history as to their personalities and things like that. Not saying that you can screen against that, but it would help to understand some of the needs that sometimes tenants have that are beyond things that you wouldn't know until they move into one of your buildings.
Well, and this is where a good leasing person can help, because if you, for instance, we've had some pet tips in the past. Let's say that this person has a tendency to bring a family dog on the property quite a bit, and you have a no pet policy.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have your leasing person explain to this potential tenant, like, hey, just so you know, this property, we have a strict no pet policy.
Yeah.
And it can kind of avoid kind of the pitfalls that you go into, and you can maybe learn that possibly through rental history or whatever
Right.
it might be. And maybe that's not the best example, but the point is that you can learn a lot about a person, not only if you have the right people on your staff that can open the door to conversations to learn more about the tenant's needs and wants.
Yeah.
And it's just about making sure that the unit that you have fits the person, and
Right.
you have an open conversation about that.
Again, there are very specific guidelines and laws that you have to follow, and so it's best to run it through a screening system
Of course.
that is set up with all of the fair housing laws for both the state of California, city of San Diego,
Exactly.
and the federal. What people don't know is that in California, many of the cities have different rental laws than just the main city that you're living in. So in other words, Imperial Beach has different rules and regulations and things like that than city of San Diego. Now they're all the same in certain aspects of it, but still these are all things that you definitely want to be aware of depending on where your property is located.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks
Thanks
so much.
for listening today.